Hi, it's Voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Coming up this week in the Buffalo Stampede, the Colorado men are coming off 2 losses on the road against Washington. This week's birthday boy, Daylen Kountz, will join us. Also, Colorado getting ready for a nice home stretch here at home against Utah and the LA schools. Associate head coach Mike Rohn has got the scout on the Utes. The women's basketball team coming off senior day here at the event center. We'll talk with freshman Emma Clarke. And the lacrosse team is getting ready for Pac-12 conference play. We'll talk with Samantha Nemirov. Coming up right now on the Buffalo Stampede.
Here's Kountz. Oh, my goodness! Daylen Kountz! Hold on a second. The aggression.
Well, that one certainly quieted the crowd in Pullman, Washington last weekend. Buffalo's on the road against Washington State, Washington. Welcome into the Buffalo Stampede. I'm Voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. This guy can jump really high, by the way. Daylen Kountz, freshman for the Colorado Buffaloes. By the way, he turns 19 this week. I don't remember 19. You know that?
Really?
19 years old.
Yeah.
Man, you know what you can do when you're 19? You can jump like that. Hey, when you have a play like that, because you've done it a number of times this season, when do you make the decision you're going to dunk when you're driving in like that?
It's just kind of after I jump. It's just either.
After I jump means you got to jump real high, though, to make that decision afterward.
Yeah, it's either he going to block it or I'm going to dunk it. So just whatever happens, happens.
How old were you the first time you dunked?
8th grade.
Okay.
So
8th grade?
Probably like 14, 13, something like that.
All right. You're 6'4"?
Yeah.
What are we, 5? What,
6'4".
6'4", okay.
Yeah.
All right. With the haircut, you're a little bit taller, though.
Yeah, probably might be about 6'6" with my hair.
Okay. Now, that was a great play, obviously, and you're learning a lot during your freshman season. Happy birthday, by the way. What do you want for your birthday?
Just want to win. That's it.
How about 3 more wins down the stretch here?
Yeah, for sure.
By the way, I loved it the other day on Twitter. This guy here tweets out something along the lines of, all I want to do is win, or I'm all about winning, or something like that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Your freshman season, how do you think it's been going?
I think it's been getting better over the course of the year. You know, started off kind of slow, but I feel like I'm kind of getting more comfortable, playing more confident.
You know, I think this season, the way things unfolded with Dell going down and not being able to play, with Naaman sitting out with the injury, you and Eli in particular were called to play a lot more minutes this season. You've kind of learned, it's been baptism under fire a little bit with you. You've had to be out there.
Yeah, that's true. It's just kind of, we've been thrown out there, you know. Just kind of got to learn as we're going.
Yeah.
Can't really, sit back. It's just we're learning as everything's coming.
And he certainly has been progressing very well, as we just saw there in the highlight. By the way, they weren't the only Buffaloes in Seattle last weekend. The track team was up there as well. A big meet at the University of Washington. We caught up with some of the athletes.
It's a big weekend in Seattle. I basically just knew that going into it I had one more chance to qualify for nationals. Definitely was nervous, but basically just hung onto the girl when she came on inside. I think that's when the senior experience kind of came in, where I didn't panic. I just stayed close to her, got in a good position, and finished as strong as I could. It's a huge thing. If you had told me a year ago this was even possible, I mean, even 2 months ago, I didn't think we'd go to indoor nationals because there's no regionals. It's just being top 16 in the nation and going over there. So to say that about yourself, that I'm top 16 in this event is an amazing accomplishment. And even to be there, you could just feel that environment, that ambiance around you, that we're amongst the elite.
So going into Seattle, I was able to race an event that I don't normally, which is mile. And I haven't run it at sea level since high school. So going in, I didn't have too many expectations. I would like to break 4, which was my goal going in. So yeah, that was just a good confidence booster now going into the NCAA. Yeah, I think the 5K is probably my strongest event going in. I believe I'm maybe 5th on the descending order list. And then the next day, I'll race the 3K. Basically all the best in NCAA converge on the 3K. Going into the NCAA now and being able to compete with the best in the nation is pretty fun.
Certainly a nice meet for the CU track team up in Seattle. The Buffs basketball team suffered a loss against the Huskies. That ball game, you played them twice this season, had a couple of competitive ball games. That zone has kind of caused some problems for you guys a little bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's caused problems. It's just we got to make sure, like, playing against the zone, it's so high up and it's kind of they're really long.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure you're getting the ball and attacking the gaps, just trying to beat it.
At this level, in high school, you can get away with a lot of things that you can't at this level. The Matisse Thybulls and Jalen Noels of the world don't allow you to do those kind of things. So you've had to adjust your game a little bit, haven't you?
Yeah, just being, especially on offense, playing stronger with the ball, actually.
Yeah.
Playing smarter, you know, you can't just simply make the pass over there. You can't stare it down and throw it. You got to fake this way to throw it in here, you know, just playing smarter, really.
When this team has played its best basketball, when you're on that 5-game winning streak, now they dropped 2 in a row, the Washington State game and then the one at Washington. What's been the key for the Buffaloes during that winning streak?
Like Coach Boyle has been saying the last couple of weeks, it comes down to defending and rebounding. If we could hang our hat on those, then we should be fine.
Yeah. Are you guys more comfortable playing in this building here?
Yeah, I say that. I mean, I kind of think everybody would be more comfortable playing at home, you know.
Yeah.
Because you're at home, your fans here, all the support's for you. Versus on the way, you know, it's just their crowd versus you, really.
You've got a great opportunity now. You got 3 games at home. This weekend, Utah's coming to town. The 2 LA schools after that. Back home, comfortable on this court, real chance to get the double-digit wins in conference play heading to Las Vegas. You guys want to take advantage of that, correct?
Yeah, we want to use this to get on a roll so we could, you know, be feeling good for conference play or the Pac-12 tournament play.
Yeah. When you think of that tournament, though, the way this league is unfolded, I mean, Washington's kind of run away from the pack a little bit, but it's a wide-open tournament once we get to Las Vegas here in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it is. I really think it's up for grabs, I think. You know, as long as we're able to, like Coach Boyle said, defend and rebound, I think we should be fine.
All right. Not too much celebrating for your birthday, okay?
Yeah, no, for sure. No.
keep it boring. I
Not
like
boring,
that.
but you know, nothing too much.
Daylen Kountz here. The Buffaloes got Utah coming to town this weekend. We'll take another timeout. And Associate Head Coach Mike Rohn will join us next as we continue talking Colorado basketball here in the Stampede.
Ted to get offensive rebounds. But that's what happened. That's really good. Tyler Bay took advantage and ran the floor back.
Back in the Stampede, voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson, Associate Head Coach Mike Rohn joining us here for a couple of minutes. Buffs coming off losing 2 on the road against Washington State and Washington last week. Let's go to that game on Wednesday in Pullman last week. Defensive issues, how hard you got to go back and look at that one?
Yeah, we had a few defensive issues. You know, we got the stop we wanted at the end. We just couldn't get the rebound.
Up 1 with the ball coming down, and
yeah. There were, you know, in games like that, you can look at a lot of little plays along the way.
Right.
You know, we missed 2 dunks in that game that lead to 2 3-pointers.
10-point swing there.
Yeah, and so, you know, not that was the whole game, but when you look at it like that, those were big plays because, you know, I mean, those are easy shots that you should expect to make, but you know, we just weren't able to do what we needed to do. And you know, we've had a few games where we've been boxing out so much better, but that was another game at crunch time. And the one thing, Evan was in the game, was our best rebounder. He was guarding Franks, and he was out because Franks took the jump shot, took him away from the basket. So it put a little pressure on, you know, the other guys to come up with it, and we just couldn't do it.
You know, Mike, you mentioned the 2 dunks that were missed, and guys are coming in thinking they're going to make a play, goes back the other way, 10-point swing because 3s are hitting the other end. Is that part of the learning process of a young team about making the simple play in a game?
I would like to think that's part of the learning process, no question. And, you know, they're not trying to miss them. You know, it's kind of hard to get mad at them, but it is a little frustrating when you look at the final score. But you know, hopefully they learn from that.
Yeah, that one in Pullman hurts though, because a winnable ball game for the Buffaloes.
No doubt. You know, it's never an easy place to play, and you got to give them some credit because they're playing a lot better. But we had that game. You know, even though some of the guys didn't play particularly well, we still had a chance to win that game, and we let that one get away.
Yeah, the Buffaloes. We'll talk more about the matchup in Seattle with Washington. In fact, right now, comments from head coach Tad Boyle after the Buffaloes dropped a hard-fought game in Seattle.
The 2 keys to this game before it started, and I thought, you know, the reason we lost to Washington tonight is taking care of the ball. And again, we're not the only team that they turn over. They turn over a lot of teams in our league. I mean, they're causing the most turnovers. But you come in this building and turn it over 19 times, good things are not going to happen to you. And you give them 13 offensive rebounds. You have to limit Washington to 1 shot. They're traditionally not a good offensive rebounding team, but they were tonight against us. Didn't do a good enough job on the boards, did not take care of the ball well enough, and we let them get going right out of halftime. I thought we weren't quite ready to answer the bell. They were, and they got, you know, an 18-point lead. And then we finally said, okay, we're going to start playing, kind of like we did at Utah, kind of like what we did at home against these guys the first time, and it was too little too late. Our guys believe. They just, the margin for error in this building is very, very thin, and especially when you turn it over, because they convert those turnovers to points really quickly.
Comments from head coach Tad Boyle after the Buffaloes' loss in Seattle to Washington. That Washington team has kind of run away with this conference a little bit. They're playing some very good basketball. You guys had to deal with that 2-3 zone defense. The length of that thing really caused some problems for the Buffaloes, didn't it?
Yeah, it definitely did. Yeah. It's very unique, and you know their athleticism makes it a little different than what we see in practice every day, and same for everybody else in the league. And Thibault was excellent that night. I think he had 6 blocks and 5 steals, or vice versa.
Something like that, yeah.
And he really makes it go defensively. We got the ball inside against them. Which is what we really wanted to do because they're so spread out. We didn't finish quite as well as we needed to. We needed to make a couple open threes. But the guys really fought back in the second half, and our defense got better.
Thibault, as you mentioned, you can't simulate him in practice. I'm not sure there's a more disruptive guy in college basketball.
I would agree with that. You know, and now granted he's in our league, and we see him a lot more than a lot of people. But, you know, I think without a doubt he's the next level defender, you know. He has the mindset and the athleticism, and he's a willing defender. So he's unique and he's special. I think he's one of the best defensive players in the country.
Yeah, I have to think so. All right, the Buffaloes now have got a real nice situation the way the schedule sets up. Off during the week, Utah this weekend, the LA schools, chance to really make some noise. You've got the scout in this Utah ball game. It didn't go well for the Buffs the first time. What changes the second time you meet a team?
Well, the first thing that's changed is we're going to have McKinley. So that's
awful nice, too, isn't it?
In the first game, we did not have him, and so that's one big change.
Yeah.
You know, knock on wood, nothing happens this week in practice, so that'll make a big difference because, you know, in the first game, Utah is not a pressing team, and they pressed us. I think a little bit that had to do with McKinley kind of being a game-time decision and not playing, and we didn't handle their press very well, and like I said, it's not something they really do, but we got down big early because we turned it over against their press. And we can't let that happen again.
Yeah, great opportunity, though, with 3 straight at home, in fact, down the stretch before they head to Las Vegas for the Pac-12 Conference Tournament. Mike Rohn joining us. We're going to shift gears as we take a time out here to Stampede. Emma Clarke, senior for the Buffaloes, talking women's basketball next.
The cold shooting kind of continuing here. Leonard inside against Matuga. Kick it to Q. Q crosses over in on Matuga. Opportunity here.
3 offensive rebounds.
Kennedy drive inside, falls down, scoops it.
We continue in the Buffalo Stampede here at the CU Event Center. Voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. CU women coming off a split last weekend, a win over Washington State. They won 2 of 4 at that point in time. Then a senior, they lost to Washington. Emma Clarke, we're talking seniors, but we're talking with a freshman here to get youthful perspective on the Buffaloes. Well, congratulations on the win, first off, against Washington State. Kind of take us through that one. Nice ball game, couple of players in 20-point range.
Yeah, definitely when Kennedy came back, everyone was really hyped, and we just wanted to go out and get revenge because they beat us by 30 last time, so we really had to step up, and we had a really good week of practice, went into the game hungry to win, and then Peanut and Q had a really big game, and we just had a lot of fun.
You know, Kennedy coming back from the extended period, was she on 10 games, I think. That takes an enormous leader and producer out of the lineup for you guys. A lot for a young team to overcome, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, especially in practice. We didn't really have that vocal presence, and on the court, Sela, being the new freshman, it was hard at the start, but we managed.
As you have kind of gotten more minutes as the season's gone along because of injuries and the way you play and those kind of things, what do you think you've learned about the game at this level?
It's definitely different to where I'm from. It's a different pace, different level, different athletes. But yeah, just getting through it and really giving it our best shot. Definitely you just got to go out, and it's just for the team. It's just not orientated on yourself.
You know, when I say Emma's got a southern accent, I'm not talking about the South. I'm talking about Australia. How did you become a Buffalo coming all the way from down there?
Coach T called me up one day, and he's like, so what are you doing? Are you staying in Australia? I said, no, I want to come to college, but haven't heard from you guys yet. So I came on a visit in May last year and then moved out here in June.
What did the family think about that? Because that's just not like driving over from Nebraska, for goodness sakes.
Yeah, they really wanted me to pursue my dreams and come over, and so yeah, it was hard for them at the start, but yeah, it was it was what I really wanted to do. So.
All right. Well, we're certainly glad that she's here for the Colorado Buffalo. She had a nice game against Washington. We'll talk more about that in a moment. As we mentioned, the victory over the Cougars, bouncing back on senior day here at the Event Center, though. Last game for Kennedy Leonard, Alexis Robinson. Not a win for the Buffs, but we did hear from the seniors after the ball game.
Senior night is always the last home game, so we only have 2 seniors on our team this year, Alexis Robinson from Kentucky and Kennedy Leonard from Texas. You know, both been really great Buffs for a long time in their 4 years here.
Before the game, we had like a little ceremony, got our uniforms, had some videos of us.
It was a super emotional day. It was a good day. I mean, it's a turning chapter in my life, but it was definitely an emotional day. It was a sad day. It was awesome to do it in front of my family, though. It was definitely tough to watch, just to watch my team compete and not be able to fight with them, but they did a great job, and I mean, I'm super proud of them for fighting as hard as they did. Come on. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So I've been here for 4 years now. I've had a new coaching staff and everything, and a lot of teammates, but I think that the part that's made it the most fun is having all those teammates.
Of course, I'm going to miss my teammates a lot. I mean, they're all my sisters. Like, blood really couldn't make us any closer, but I love them all to death. I'm going to miss them a lot.
They just bring a lot of stability to our program. They bring a lot of passion and fight and competitiveness. They're a great example in that regard to their younger teammates. They've taken great care of their young teammates over the years, and they'll definitely be missed by everybody.
Always a little sad, a little tearjerker, but I'm really thankful for the experience that I've had over the last 4 years, and me and Lex, and for the program that we've been able to leave behind.
See you later, Buff Nation.
Well, when it's all said and done, those two will go down as some of the greatest players in Colorado basketball history on the women's side. What do you think you've learned from, Kennedy and Lex over the course of your time here with them?
Definitely how important leadership is. Their vocal presence on the court, like I was saying, and just like how supportive they are of like the freshmen in the younger class. They're always there supporting us, getting us in the gym, getting us to lift more in the weight room, just really pushing us to get our best potential out of us.
Both of them are gym rats. I mean, you got to learn that from me. The commitment both those two have, right?
Yeah, always. Kennedy's always in here getting up extra shots, and Lex is always in the weight room lifting more. But
was it a little emotional to start that game? So Kennedy's come back to play a couple of games now after the injury. Lex went out there and started and then rolled the ball down the court. That was a little emotional, wasn't it?
I know, especially when we had to plan it and we had to say, okay, Maya's going to tip it to Lex and Lex is just going to roll it out. But it was great that the crowd stood up, and it was a really emotional.
All right, now there's still work to do for the CU women's team. We've got 2 games on the road against LA this week, and I know you're hoping to make some noise in the Pac-12 Conference Tournament as well. How about these games against USC on Friday and then UCLA on Sunday?
When we won first game against USC, that was like our first win in the Pac-12, so we were all really, really excited for this weekend. Hopefully we can match it. And UCLA, it was a really close game the first time, so we're just trying to push over this time.
Has that been one of the harder things for this team, considering how close you've been so many times? It just came up short a handful of times?
I mean, everything happens for a reason, but we've been so close, so it just really shows how much potential we have, especially going into Pac-12 tournament.
Yeah, how about J.R. Payne? What's kind of her message been to persevere through all of this?
Well, we have had a pretty rough season, injuries and setbacks and people just having their own problems, but we've stuck together and fought together, so really if we do it together we can do anything. It's kind of what she's been saying.
What will you take as you go to your sophomore season from this, where Emma says, okay, I got to get better on this. This is where I'm taking my game to the next level, if you will?
Definitely hard work. We've been pushing this whole year, but really just getting around my teammates probably at practice and telling them we gotta get better.
I like it. Well, congratulations on a freshman. He's not over yet.
Not
all right, good luck this weekend in Los Angeles. Emma Clarke joining us from the CU women's basketball team. Friday night, USC on the road against LA, and then of course the UCLA game on Sunday. Coming up next, we're talking a little lacrosse. Lost a couple last weekend. We'll get an update on Ann Elliott's team next.
Really from the sidelines, we knew coming in that Michigan was going to be a really aggressive team, and so we wanted to make sure that we would go 100% on ground balls, on one-on-ones, and really match their aggression both, on the defensive and on the attack end. So we were ready to put our full effort into this match today for sure.
Back in the Buffalo Stampede, voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Samantha Nemirov joining us, senior for the CU lacrosse team, coming off a couple of losses this week. Lost indoors, by the way, on Friday versus Stony Brook, and then lost on Sunday visiting Michigan as well. Kind of takes us through the Stony Brook, and that's your hometown, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're from there. Take us through that game with Stony Brook.
I mean, yeah, it's always great to have great competition come in to our hometown. I mean, it wasn't our home field. We played indoors, but it was great to have them out here. Tough loss, but we learned a lot.
What went well? What did you learn from that game?
We just really got to learn like what we're going to be up against come the future, and we learned our strengths, things we need to work on. We tried to translate them into the next game, but it's a good thing we have 2 weeks coming up before Pac-12s to really focus in on our stuff we need to work on.
Buffalo's dropped those two. They dropped the 20th, by the way, in the poll for lacrosse. All right, playing indoors. Mother Nature didn't cooperate last week, and so it was moved into the IPF. What's that like? What changes when you move inside?
Well, in the IPF, the field's a lot shorter. The corners are actually cut off a lot, and the ball moves a lot faster, so the game itself is moving a lot faster. And that's, other than that, though, the lighting was fine, and I mean, a lot warmer than outside, so that was a plus.
It's awesome having that IPF, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
When situations like that arise, that's fantastic. How would you assess where you guys are at now through, 4 games?
I think we're definitely in the learning process. There's also a lot of positives that we can take from those competitions. They were all very good teams, top-ranked teams. I think we're just really trying to focus in on us and get ready for the Pac-12.
Now, they were able to move outside for the game Sunday against Michigan. And by the way, there's a connection there. Hannah Nielsen, the head coach at Michigan, a few years ago was an assistant, recruited Samantha, in fact, and we caught up with the Big Blue head coach.
Yeah, it really feels like yesterday that we were shipping out here and moving to Colorado and then playing that game running out behind Ralphie on Folsom Field. It was such a great time in my life, and to learn from Ann and to think that she's coached 100 games now. She's doing a tremendous job, and all the congratulations to her in the world.
Hey, look at Jana!
You know, I always will and always have been a fan of Colorado ever since working here. They're a team I follow very closely, obviously with Annie and what she's doing here. And to see, you know, recruiting that first class of 21, really had no idea what it was going to be like, and to look at them their freshman year and think about the laughs we had and how clueless they were, and then to see them, that class, even go on and have a tremendous career and make playoffs, and to see, you know, they're constantly ranked. They're in top 20, top 15 week after week, and that's a testament to Ann and her staff and what she's done here since day one, and it really it holds a special place in my heart, and the time here I had with Ann was incredible.
So there was that unique connection there with Hannah Nielsen, the head coach at Michigan. Now, she recruited you here to Colorado before she went down to Australia and then came back as a Big Blue head coach. How was that seeing her standing across the way?
Yeah, I mean, it's always exciting to get her back here in Boulder. I never actually got to play with her, but it was always good to see a familiar face.
Yeah, she recruited you, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and you came in from New York.
Yeah.
How did you end up out here then?
I mean, they reached out.
You had Stony Brook right there, so a very good program, and you just walked away from them and decided, I mean, it's a smart decision, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to get away from home. I love my home, but I wanted to travel outwards. But yeah, came out, visited, completely fell in love with the campus, the team, the program.
Why would you not?
The whole, yeah. It's great.
Here in Colorado, the mountains and everything.
Best place.
Well, without question. All right. Now, you had mentioned just a moment ago, in fact, now the Buffs have got a bit of a break here. So a chance to work on a few things the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, definitely. I think in these next 2 weeks before Pac-12 starts, we're really going to focus in on ourselves, what we need to work on individually and as a team, and come out firing for Pac-12s.
How about you being a senior? How does that change things for you in terms of your approach? What kind of responsibility you take upon yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I think senior season, I really want to go out with a bang. Definitely more of a leadership role on the team, trying to lead the younger girls, try and teach them from my experience and kind of just make it the best season yet.
You know, the way that when Ann started this program, you're starting it from scratch. I mean, she went from 0 to 60 in a split second, and it's really set the bar high. The expectations on this thing for you players every year is I mean, off the charts, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think Ann really believes in us and really sets high expectations for our team, and I think we really need to follow through with that coming up in Pac-12s.
As the Buffs now open up Pac-12 conference play, not this weekend, the following weekend, you go to the Bay Area, you've got Stanford and Cal. What are we hearing about? What are you thinking about the Pac-12 conference in terms of what to expect this season?
I think all the teams in the Pac-12 are coming back very strong, and I think we're excited to see familiar faces with the Pac-12 teams and just get out there and show them what we're made of.
All right. They got about a week and a half from this point to get themselves ready. Good luck in Pac-12 play.
Thank you.
All right. Samantha Nemirov joining us from the CU lacrosse team as the Buffs are on the road, opening up Pac-12 play next week at Stanford at Cal. As we put a wrap on the Buffalo Stampede this week, my voice to the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Thanks for being with us. We'll talk to you next time.